Hi, Dave. Great to see you today for our six simple questions. Can you please introduce yourself and your company and tell us what you do?
Yeah, good morning, Simon. I'm Dave Emery from Virtechs Limited, and Virtechs offers architectural services mostly to house builder clients. We do that using lots of technology. So instead of creating traditional architectural drawings like I used to when I was a boy, we create fully detailed three-dimensional computer-generated virtual buildings. It means the clients can have a real understanding of what we've designed. They can even walk through the building using just an iPad or even a smartphone. The other part of the company is this side. This is our scanning division. So we have Matterport scanners where we can go into an existing building and do a full, what's called an immersive scan. And that means you can allow people virtually to walk through your property. And that's great for things like hotels, bars, restaurants. But really, estate agents are showing a great interest at the moment with the lockdown that we've all been going through. It means that property owners can market their houses or apartments without having to bring people physically into the building. The other part of the company that isn't shown on the background is around our off-site construction expertise. So we work in an industry that's known to be very efficient, rather wasteful. We're not very good at delivering buildings on time or to good quality. And we also face a huge skills gap in the future. So I've been developing learning materials for an industry that's perhaps going to move to an off-site model, which means we'll build as much of our buildings as possible in a factory and then bring them to site to assembly. So I'm working with construction companies and indeed manufacturing companies to try and express the opportunities that I see in our industry.
Absolutely amazing. It sounds like you're right at the forefront of technology, which is fantastic. So second question, how can your fellow Business Network members help you and your business?
So in Virtechs, for our design services, I like to work with house builders and developers. In my years, I've designed something over 5,000 houses. I've lost count, quite frankly. But I got involved very much in the early stages in helping developers acquire sites and do feasibility studies. And of course, I can reverse those skills and work with private individuals who perhaps own valuable pieces of land, who perhaps receive overtures from builders and developers and don't quite know what to do to sell the property for the best value. So I can, if you like, become poacher turned gamekeeper and help you get the best deal from it. In terms of Virtechs 360, obviously I'd really like to speak to estate agents, but I'd also like to speak to landlords. Having a virtual scan as you hand over to a new tenant is a great way of keeping records, great for insurance purposes. And one avenue I'd like to explore actually is a virtual car showroom. So if you can't bring people into your car showroom, let's do a scan every month and let's see your stock. We can even tag your vehicles with prices and deals and so on. So that's it. So it's house builders, landowners, estate agents, landlords, and for fun, car showrooms.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Giving us a really good idea of who you're looking to meet. As you know, networking is all about getting to know you. So tell us what you enjoy doing in your spare time.
Well, I've been a bit of a petrol head since I was a boy. So I love cars, and my wife and I own a convertible. In fact, we've just bought a new one this week. So we love nothing more than a summer night with the hood down, finding quiet spots to drive enthusiastically, shall we say. I'm also a very keen Freemason. I have been for 30 years, so we do lots of charitable work, both my wife and I have lots of friends through that. And one day when we've got longer, Simon, I'll tell you how I auction my wife's services off every year. But that's another story.
Fantastic. I look forward to hearing the other story. That's another video for the future. So a couple of quick fire questions. What's your favourite movie?
I thought about this and I thought maybe I should think of some sort of movie that gives me a great philosophical message or lesson in life. And I'm rather too shallow for that. So my favourite is one that many people won't have heard of. It's called Glengarry Glen Ross. And it's about a bunch of deadbeat insurance salesmen fighting each other tooth and nail to get the best leads to go out and sell insurance. And the reason I love it is it's a stellar cast. but the finest piece of on-screen acting I've ever seen is Jack Lemmon in that film, as he's discovered by his upstart boss stealing. And without changing anything in his facial expression, you just see the whole man's demeanour go from cocky to crestfallen.
Wow, I've never even heard of that one. So again, that's one for the list. I'm learning lots of new movies during these videos. So that's brilliant. Thank you very much. Where's your perfect holiday destination if you could go anywhere in the world?
I think if I was prepared to travel, and I'm not sure I am at the moment, I think I'd probably look at the great sites in the US, so Colorado and Nevada, those sorts of places. But actually the place my wife and I have both enjoyed most recently was the far north of Scotland. So we did something called the North Coast 500 run, which is 500 miles around the very north coast of Scotland with a hood down last year. And it was so beautiful. We were actually one morning moved to tears by the sheer beauty of the place. So northern Scotland.
Wow, yeah, there's so much beauty in the UK that we forget about, don't there? So, and finally, what words of wisdom can you offer your fellow Business Network members?
Well, I think there's one that's perhaps a cliche, which is if you find a job you love, you'll never have to work again. But I think a more practical one, particularly if you're a small business owner like I am, I set out to do the thing that I love doing most. And I think I failed to realise that in having any sort of business, there are an awful lot of functions that you simply either can't do or do not like to do. So one of the key things you must do is sort out who is going to carry out all the necessary business functions. And if that means outsourcing, that's what you need to do. Otherwise, you need to marry my wife.
Excellent. And of course, we can't all do that because you've already done it. So that's some excellent advice. So that just leaves me to say thank you very much indeed, Dave, for answering our 6 simple questions today.
Thanks for the opportunity, Simon.